So as any avid reader would tell you, there's two sub-hobbies within the hobby of reading. The first hobby is reading the actual book, and then the second hobby is buying books. Book buying is a hobby within itself, and it's very addictive. So to give myself more time, I decided to delete all of the social media apps off my phone so I can have more time to read. In this video, I'm going to share why I decided to quit social media, or at least delete it off my phone, how I approached cutting out social media, and then finally I'll share the results of cutting out social media off my phone. The first reason was I was obviously wasting so much time on social media. And while on social media, I felt absolutely brain dead. A typical morning for myself would look like this. I would wake up in the morning, grab my phone, start scrolling. And then when I was getting ready for work, I would be scrolling and watching these short videos play that I had no interest in. I would just stare at them soullessly. It's a little dramatic, but for real, I was not even paying attention to them. And then as soon as one ended, I would just scroll up and watch another one. I noticed if I had any downtime at all, whether that be at an airport or at home or at work, I would just grab my phone and just stare at it and scroll. It didn't feel like I actually wanted to be doing this. It just was clear that I was addicted to scrolling on my phone. So I decided I needed to make a change. Which brings me to my second reason why I decided to cut out social media is it felt deceiving. I'm sure you can relate to this. I would spend so much time on social media without even realizing it. I hated it. It was the worst feeling in the world when I would think I'd be spending 10 minutes on my phone, and instead I spent an hour or more on my phone just watching videos or scrolling a timeline that I had no interest in. And this really did not feel right to me. I felt kind of deceived and taken advantage of in a way. I didn't feel like the opinions that these people had on social media were real. I felt like they were kind of enhanced or rewritten to stir up drama or to act a little bit belligerent just to get my attention. And I can't even be mad at them because that's their job. That's how they make money. That's how they get views and everything. So, and they kind of did a good job because they got me hooked for like months. But I wasn't interested in this type of content yet. I was spending so much time on it. So I had to reshape my mind in thinking that this is not actually what I want to be doing. I could be doing something completely different. So that's another reason why I decided to quit social media. The third reason why I decided to cut out social media is I realized I didn't value what I was watching. It's not that I wasn't entertained by social media. It's obvious that I was a bit entertained by social media, but I really didn't value the process of just mindlessly consuming content and scrolling on my phone. I wanted to get back into writing, creating content, reading books, and working on other projects that I had planned before, but social media made me feel like I didn't have enough time. Let me tell you, when I deleted social media, I unlocked a cheat code for time. I had no idea how much time I was actually spending on these social media apps until I deleted them. Of course, there's like those apps that tell you how many hours you spend on each app and everything, but seeing it on a screen and then actually feeling the extra time are two totally separate things, and feeling how much time I had felt amazing. I found so much more time during the day. I found time at work, I found time in the morning, I found time after work, on the weekends, I found much more time to read books, write, watch movies, and just do whatever I wanted. I didn't have just that wasted time on my phone. So finally, and essentially the main reason why I decided to delete social media was I wanted to read more of the books that I buy. So I've been an avid book reader for about 10 years now, and alongside of that, I've been an avid book buyer. Recently, I've been an extreme book buyer. It's been pretty bad. My fiance's not judging me, but she's probably judging me at this point because I probably bought, I want to say 40 or so books in the past 4 months or so, maybe more, probably more, most likely more books than that. I noticed that although I was still buying these books at a rapid pace, I wasn't reading as much this year as I was in previous years. And although I wasn't reading as much as before, I was consuming more media, social media, than I think I've ever consumed in my life. I was constantly on social media. So all this social media intake and not really wanting to be on social media made me question how I was spending my time. So I decided I was going to delete all social media and start reading instead of scrolling. Essentially, every time I wanted to scroll, I would bury myself in a book instead. And this worked extremely well for me, and I found myself reading more than I have ever read in my entire life. But before I get to the results, I want to share a little bit about the process of deleting social media. So I went fairly slow with deleting social media, and I didn't go full force. I didn't delete all social media, and I kept some apps, but I deleted the ones that were just extreme time sinks and ones that I just didn't value. So for example, I didn't delete a lot of the accounts that I had, but I did delete the apps on my phone. And then some apps I just tweaked. For example, YouTube, I kept on my phone. I like to watch podcasts and videos every now and then. So I kept that on my phone, but I removed the shorts on the YouTube app. As far as access goes, in order to access my social media, I have to log on to my PC. I have to log into the account. And then when I'm done, I log out of the account. And I found that this creates a significant barrier to entry as far as social media goes. And as a result, I haven't been on social media in like 3 months, and it just seems tedious to go on. And eventually I'm just gonna probably delete all social media. All right, now let's get into the results of this experiment. And I will say this experiment has opened many doors for me. I've read books that I never thought I would ever read and genres I never thought I would enjoy. So in about 2 months, I completed 20 books and started a few but didn't finish them. And for me, this number is significant. Normally reading 20 books would take me about 4 months. So to do that in 2 months is crazy tempo for myself. And this was while I had one of the busiest schedules that I've had in a long time. I just found myself finding little bits of time here and there that I was able to read. So the trick that worked for me was I essentially replaced my phone with a book. So next to my bed, I typically had my phone, and on my desk, I would have my phone, and it was always visible to me. So instead of the phone, I put a book. It was just visible, always in my line of sight. I kept a book on my pillow, in my bag, on my desk. I even brought a book with me to the toilet. Essentially, anytime I would be on my phone, I was reading. And the rule that I had for myself was every time I wanted to grab my phone, I would grab my book instead. I noticed with this experiment that I started to read a bit wider. I found that the more time I had to read, I started to branch out into new genres. Normally, I would read nonfiction, but now I'm reading science fiction, fiction, fantasy, and even science books. So before I would read for 30 minutes a day, mostly nonfiction and strictly for learning purposes. But now that I find myself having more time to read, I'm starting to read for entertainment more than for strictly learning purposes. I forgot to add this into the video. So I still read nonfiction, but I only read nonfiction for about 30 minutes to an hour a day. I didn't know how much I loved to read for entertainment until I decided to quit social media. And recently I've been getting into science fiction, and I'm having such an incredible time. I've achieved other things other than reading. I've started to write again, creating content, spending time with my fiance, with my dogs, spending time watching movies and journaling and doing other things that I've wanted to do. So would I recommend that you do this? Maybe. It's your life. Reading is valuable to me, but it might not be valuable to you. I found myself wanting to spend time on things that I want to enjoy and not what an algorithm wants me to enjoy. But that's just me. If you decide that you want to do this, you should do this. If you enjoy social media, if you have a good time on it, you value it, be on social media. If you love to read, awesome. If you're able to balance reading and social media, that's great. I wasn't able to do that personally. I felt myself getting more and more addicted to social media and spending less time reading, so I had to delete the apps. I personally found great results deleting social media and reading more, but ultimately it was my choice. So tell me in the comments what books you're currently reading. And if you like this video, give it a like. If you hated the video, give it a comment. And subscribe if you want some more of this content. Thank you so much for the love and support on the last video. I really appreciate it, and I hope to make more videos for you. So give it a like, give me a subscribe if you feel like it, and thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Love you. How do I end this shit, dude?